Both eyes of rain, I smell smoke from all of those flames. Fell in holes and hope for my grave. They told me smell the roses, but I burnt the whole bouquet.
Tom, you'll never win the fight against your haters long as I listen. Cause I read every single comment that you try missing. Then recite them in your mind and memorize disses. I'm a giant, Thomas, why are you trying to fight with me?
I'm different, don't care about a height difference, I might win it. Show up to a gunfight, knife swinging.
I am the darkness.
Yeah, I got night vision. No! I need to do this by myself. I told you twice already exactly how I felt. I'm the best rapper ever, I don't wanna be great. If they're the best, then I'm better, don't you make no mistake. Cause I'm the gold, feel it in my bones until I'm a ghost. I'm the one who pulls the sword out of the stone. Best ever. I'm the best rapper ever, I don't care what you say. I'm Da Vinci, I'm forever, I'm designed for the fake. Cause I'm the gold, get the kid a throne. Everybody knows, only voices that I'm hearing on my own. Best
Aaron Tuttle here. It's storm season in Oklahoma, and with that comes torrential rain, high winds, and hail. To protect your home and your family from these threats, the one roofing company you should trust is Ferguson Roof Systems. They've been providing the best in roofing services for nearly half a century. Ferguson is Oklahoma's full-service roofing company, certified with an A+ Better Business Bureau rating and a 5-star rating on Google. And with Ferguson now offering Class 4 impact-resistant shingles, now is the time to trust them with your home's roof. Get started today at FergusonRoofSystems.com. Hey everyone, Meteorologist Aaron Tuttle back with you on a Thursday night. It's almost 9:30, so you've come to the right place. We're going to talk about your severe weather threat as we head into tomorrow, and also take a sneak peek of what may or may not occur next Tuesday as well. It's our other storm system already coming on in. So I was checking all the people out here on the Facebook land, so thank you for all the star senders tonight. So Angela, Ashley, Jessica, I see you ladies. Dominique's in the house, Zach as well. Jolinda, ooh, got me some earbuds going on with that one. She must like the tunes. Brandy, I see you, so thank you very much for the Facebook love tonight. I see you, Kim. So what we're going to do is we'll get started with, now today we had a few sprinkles out there. I mean, didn't really manage too much. We're going to kind of a repeat for tomorrow until the afternoon hits, and that's when things will start to bubble up and get a little heavier. So let's get on with that as well. So please like and share this video. Tell your friends and family about AT's weather. Facebook will reward you more if you do interact with the page. In other words, you'll get notifications when I go live more so. So there's a lot of people going live these days, and it has to try to pick which one you're more interested in. And if you want that anxiety-free educational weather, you got to come here. So you got to do it. All right, let's go to the full screen. First thing first is the severe weather potential for Fridays from the National Weather Service. It does indicate a slight risk here in yellow shading across a good area of central, southern, and western Oklahoma. It also has the tornado potential listed as low. Notice there's no zero in here. In other words, tornado potential is not the word 0 or 1 or 2. They just give it categories of very low, low, medium, high. So you do notice it's not very low. So translation for this, we'll probably see 1 or 2 tornadoes across the state tomorrow. Maximum hail size up to baseball, so 2 inches or greater expected in some of these supercells, and maximum wind speeds close to 80 miles per hour in some of the bigger storms. That's a breakdown here locally. As far as the tornado threat outline goes, this is what they've got so far on their graphic. Now, I will change this a little bit because I like to massage things based off the newest data, and I like this little favored area here. In this region, more than likely for potential tornado, something like this. So we'll see how this pans out for tomorrow, but that's where I would place a tornado or 2 here in Oklahoma, and we'll get to the reasons for that here in just a second. But regardless, you need to stay weather aware, make sure storm shelter's cleared out, all that stuff. Now, the severe weather threat continues down in the southern parts of Oklahoma to Texas. So Dallas-Fort Worth in the action, down to Houston, San Antonio, and points east from there. A lot of hail and wind with a lot of these storms. Here's a 4-panel view. So the tornado threat kind of highlighted here from the Storm Prediction Center in the southwestern quadrant of Oklahoma, bounded by I-40 and I-35. Another little hot spot here from Dallas-Fort Worth east on I-20, then down south on 35, till you get to about Bryan College Station and points east. And then down here in southwestern picture, you see this is the hail threat, so quite a large area seeing some hail. And then the wind threat, not a huge wind machine with this one, but there will be pockets of damaging wind anytime you get supercell storms. Okay, so if we talk about Tuesday, there is a threat of severe weather for Tuesday. It's just a generic highlight. Hey, just keep an eye on the sky. This means nothing more because this can easily not pan out in various ways. We talked about that last night. Here's a broader picture of that from the Storm Prediction Center. It continues on to Texas and up north into Kansas. Why? Just another storm system coming in from the west, another in the jet stream. But the timing, like I talked about earlier, and the track is so important. And this far out, you're just not going to know all those details. If we do look at the analogs, in other words, it takes a look at this pattern coming up for Tuesday and then combines it to what it's seen in the past. It tries to say, okay, well, if you're going to mimic everything the same, then we should get some reports of severe weather. So the hazardous guidance does have reports of severe weather here over Oklahoma and parts of the Texas Panhandle. Now, here's a caveat. I picked any severe weather report and only one report. Watch what happens. And by the way, let me show you this. This is a probability of 20 to 30%. In other words, very low. So in other words, this is not an exciting event so far, looking at the latest data from last night and today. If we go 5 or more reports, it's only 10 to 15% probability of occurring. And if we pick 5 or more, that didn't even work. There we go. 5 or more tornadoes, nothing. So historically, it's not going to produce a tornado. There's even one tornado. So Tuesday, don't worry about it. That's my whole point, is that the latest data does show that right now, it's something to keep an eye on, but it's very widespread. In other words, this particular graphic shows you how much of the area could be seeing severe weather. This is all going to move around, and we'll have to try to find the needle in the haystack as we get through time. But here's a look at the tornado parameter, for example. And its best guess at seeing a tornado would be in eastern Oklahoma for Tuesday, late day, Tuesday night. Hail, more of the widespread area in the green, and then wind, a few pockets here and there, and mainly in eastern and southeastern Oklahoma. So that's kind of how that looks right now. There is no point in getting any more detail than that because it won't matter. It'll change. All right. So let's just focus on tomorrow. So this is the tech model. I like to use this during severe weather events, and I want to show you the couple of take homes. First off, in the morning, we're gonna have those clouds, a few scattered showers, sprinkles, all that kind of stuff. Now, as we head into lunchtime, we should start to bubble up a couple of elevated thunderstorms here in southern Oklahoma. And those will have a tendency to move into central Oklahoma for the mid-afternoon. Might have some hail with those, small hail. Not looking for anything more than an inch in diameter at this point in time. Those will move into northern and northeastern Oklahoma, those same kind of idea, thunderstorms, typical garden variety time. By the time we head to 6 and 7 o'clock, though, you see these clusters of storms out west? That's what I'm going to be keeping an eye on for the potential for tornadoes. I'll also look down south into Dallas, and you see these little red things down here, well, that's the helicity tracks with the storms. In other words, there'll be some hail producers and there'll be a couple of tornadoes embedded within all this mess in Dallas tomorrow afternoon. Matter of fact, here's a look. I'm going to go backwards in time. So here's lunchtime for Dallas. It starts to get showers and storms already bubbling up. So late morning through the mid to late afternoon, it's just going to be a bumpy day down there. By the time you head to 7 o'clock, it starts to move out of Dallas County into Rockwall and points eastward from there. And yeah, there'll likely be a couple of tornadoes down in that area. All right, that could include Dallas-Fort Worth, though. So if you guys are watching me down there in North Texas, just keep your guard up for that. Make sure you have my free weather app, AT's Weather to Go. You can download it right now on Apple and Google Play. It'll predict those tornadoes up to about 15 minutes before they occur, and gives you a lot of extra warning before the official warning comes out from the National Weather Service. So that's a lifesaver. And it's free. Okay, so let's take a look again, focus on western Oklahoma for the, let's call it early evening period. You can see how these storms move from west to east, and they have big helicity tracks with them, and they will eventually, according to the model data, get into a favorable environment for more of a line-echo wave pattern, more like a mini squall line, a cluster of storms versus supercell storms. It usually happens after a period of time, and they start to cycle down. So a couple of this take homes from this is the max helicity updraft. In other words, the best area to look for producing a tornado, it happens to be in that area talked about here. It's a very strong indication of a supercell producing tornado with this output here in western Oklahoma. And then if we look at the significant tornado parameter, this model has the best ingredients down here in that favorable region, southwest Oklahoma, south central, during the evening hours. It's not overly over the top or anything like that. It's just enough, to produce that kind of an environment. Now, if we do look, we're going to switch models. We're going to go into the high resolution HER model. And we're going to show you that the best conditions as far as cape and instability, in other words, what you need to produce severe storms, and in this case, produce supercells. Supercells is what produce tornadoes sometimes. Very rare, believe it or not. It's very hard to produce a tornado. Supercells, though, are a lot easier to produce as long as you got a good combination of wind and shear. And we've got wind and shear combination, looks like really from, well, the shear is great all the way in southeast Oklahoma, but from where we're going to outline for where you get some instability is just in Oklahoma City metro area, right along I-40, and then back out here into southwest Oklahoma. So this is the favored corridor here for severe storms. That's probably why, again, the Storm Prediction Center had that ring donut for best tornado potential in the sweet spot of this. Now keep in mind this will move around a little bit, but that's the general consensus of the area. All right, we look at storm development on the HRRR. This will be a little bit different than what we saw with the tech model. All right, so at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it's got those thunderstorms developing down here into southern Oklahoma. As we head into midday, 3, 4 o'clock, we're going to see some of those over central Oklahoma. They don't really indicate all that heavy here, and I think the model may be an error of that. But regardless, I think there'll be pockets of small hail. You can see they bubble up there in the northern Oklahoma, northeast, and southeast. Then you focus your attention at 6 o'clock. See these storms out here in west, eastern Texas Panhandle. So those would be the ones that would produce tornadoes and very large hail over 2 inches in diameter. So those are moving to the east. Now, I will tell you this before you get too excited, and you pick a county. These computer models are great at telling you the thing to watch for and the overall pattern, the general environment, that kind of stuff. When it comes time to this county, this city seeing a tornado tomorrow at this time, never going to happen. It's still going to produce it on the map, but you have to understand that there's got a little translation there for what you're going to see with the data. Okay, so it's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. The tornado threat by this point is kind of diminished and gone away. And we got more of a line moving through central Oklahoma and Oklahoma City. At that point in time, that moves on through the rest of the body of the state overnight into 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning before kind of exiting and getting out of here. So that's how that ought to play out. And last night we talked about the reason for this, and I'll just show you real quick here why these particular surface features, or let's just say position of the front, position of the storms, are in relation to the surface features. So we'll go to 6 o'clock. Yeah, let's do this. Okay, so at 6 o'clock, this is the dew point map. I just had to pick something for you. All right, so we've got an area of low pressure that's developing here across really much Childress. It loves to develop down here in southeastern Texas Panhandle, okay? On top of that, you usually get the little warm front action that'll bode out of this, so somewhere along I-40 for a while, then it'll drip up here in northeast Oklahoma. And then you'll get your little dry line action that'll develop here. You can see the green, that's moisture, right? So you see the brown is completely dry. So there's easy to find out where your dry line is, something like that. So dry air comes in on this vicinity here. So what happens is you get the sweet spot where you get the best instability, favorable wind environment, all that kind of stuff, piping into this little quadrant here ahead of the dry line. So a lot of times then you'll end up with thunderstorms that develop right near the triple point, which is what we saw in the model data. And they'll sometimes develop on the bulge of the dry line, which will be in this position here in southwest Oklahoma. And yes, the atmosphere is not too capped. You'll get a development here along the warm front. So there's your 3 hotspot areas, and you can see they're all kind of in that southwestern quadrant of the state. So pretty much bounded by I-40, and then down here along the Red River. So that's going to be your north and south. And then any of those 2 or 3 cells that do develop, they'll be monsters, and they'll have some hail with them, and they're going to have the potential for a tornado. All right, so that's kind of that breaks down when you're looking at the surface pattern. Now, rainfall amounts are really good with this particular system. Probably get about an inch of rain here in Oklahoma City. Some areas might even get 2 inches, where you get some really heavy downpours and training effect. Models favor northern and eastern Oklahoma for that. But even, it doesn't really highlight it too much out here, but if you get any of those storms out here in western, southwestern Oklahoma, they can drop a quick ½ inch to an inch of rain underneath them. And a lot of that, of course, will be a lot of hail with it too, so kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so now let's do the NAM model. And we're going to look at a couple of the CAM models just to see, because all this data just came in here in the last few minutes. It's going to be a little bit more excited than the HRRR. I'm not too excited about this excitement. If that makes any sense. I think it's a little overboard, but regardless, it's still got the same idea of thunderstorms around. So let me do this. Let's focus. Let's see what. Yeah, let me do the radar replay real quick so I can see for myself, and then we're gonna look at the tornado parameter and what the other CAM models think is the sweet spots. All right. So there's one CAM model. It's got storms in southern Oklahoma. It's got a few of those there in southwest Oklahoma. So in that area I talked about there, so that makes sense. And it's got those elevated guys here still in central Oklahoma. And then the evening hours, it all congeals into a big line, and that moves on east. All right, so very similar look to the HER model, so I like this one. It's a good outfit. I'd go with that one. Let's go to its other brother here, and the Nestle. And it usually does really good in severe weather. Same idea. A few supercells out here in southwest Oklahoma. A couple of may produce a tornado, and then it lines out. All right, so that's enough for me to know there's really no need to change the forecast or even look at anything more. Temperatures. So tonight, next few nights, we're still chilly, but we're not freezing or frosty or anything like that, so that's good. Daytime high, still a little cool tomorrow because of the clouds and the rainfall, so we'll say 60s, maybe still some 50s in far northern Oklahoma. And then we're going to be in the 80s for Sunday and Monday and Tuesday. Oh, it looks so good. And then remember that next storm system comes in Tuesday. That cools us down for the after that. So lows, believe it or not, back into the mid 40s here Thursday and Friday morning. So if you do have any plants that don't like to be outdoors when it's below 50, you might want to do something, bring them in the garage or just put them up against the house and get a little more heat from the house or something like that. Otherwise, the weather is looking great. Much quieter and, not storm after storm after storm. But we've talked about this for a few days. My blog is just we're not in a pattern yet that's very active. So you're up to date with everything of that. So if you're wanting to say, okay, well, Aaron, I know you talked about Tuesday, right? But you just kind of glossed over it because it's too far out there. And it really is, so there's really no point. But for those of you folks that'd like to know, we'll show you Tuesday here in just a second. But let me go through real quick, look at a couple of the comments, make sure I didn't skip anything or anything important, find out real quick. Okay, so YouTube checking in. Sorry guys about last night. I had some technical difficulties. Angela, you're funny. Jim from Mustang in the house tomorrow, or tonight. He's going to be heading to Tulsa, I believe, hoping for lightning. Yeah, you'll get lightning in these storms, that's for sure. Soccer game in Edmond tomorrow at 8 o'clock. Angelica, yeah, it's going to be a little storm around. Great day to be driving back from Pensacola. Gotcha, Jeff. Well, welcome back to Oklahoma. All right, let's go to the patrons here real quick, and let's see what you guys have to say. And we'll get to your Tuesday here in just a minute for those of you folks that are tuned in late. Let's see, where is it? There it is. Okay, if you guys have any questions, fire them away here real quick. All right. Let's see. Let's do the main page. So I broadcast live in 4 different areas all at the same time, so it's a lot to monitor. I'm going to be adding a 5th one once it gets up and running. I'll let you know when that occurs, but my goodness. Okay, so let me go. The phone is much easier to scroll up from because it goes too fast on the computer. Lindsay's painting a boat on Sunday. Sunday's a great day. Man, Sunday's going to be awesome. Thanks, Ron. Again, thanks for the stars. I see you, Jasmine, Daisy, Joe. Appreciate you. I know you guys are asking for Larry, so we're going to have to bring Larry back out here soon. Sean, I see you, brother, with some stars. Appreciate you. Same thing, Chris. How things going over there for you? Let's see. Jacob, Bruce. Appreciate you. Julie, I got you. Nona. So thanks for the Facebook love tonight. Michelle, Stephanie, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are very, very nice tonight. Jenny and Jesse, goodness gracious, it goes on and on. So I appreciate the love. All right, tell you what, remember, I said this on Twitter today also. The Weather Service kind of put out a statement on anxiety and how to refrain from getting too worked up on storms. And I threw in, I tweet quoted that and put in my 2 cents, which is also turn off whatever source is causing that anxiety. So here, if you've been following me for a long time, you know that this is an anxiety-free zone. I don't scare you, get you riled up. I just give it to you a scientific approach on it. And then when we cover storms, I can actually probably put you to sleep. It's so calm, cool, and collected. So now those that don't watch me, have never watched me, they're going to run their mouth and say a bunch of stuff because they believe it, whatever they read on the internet. But for those of you that actually been following me for a while, you know that's the alternative to what's out there. So if you find yourself, a friend or loved one that gets really, really worked up, when it comes time to talking about severe storms, either in the forecast or on live coverage, just send them my direction and I'll I'll totally take away the need for any miracle or any medicinal stuff. You know what I mean? Or anything like that. Well, I mean, just words, will fit the bill. So send them my way and I'll get them taken care of. So, all right, let's get on with the Tuesday deal. And for those folks that didn't hear earlier, I was telling you to download my free weather app. It's called AT's Weather to Go. And it'll predict those tornadoes in advance and give you a lot more time to seek shelter. That's really important, obviously. The more time you have, the more time you have to breathe and get the kids ready, dogs ready, and all that kind of stuff. All right, so back to the maps we go. And let's take a look at, we'll do the American model here. And we're going to go probably on the national level first. It's funny because a lot of times everybody's always focused on, the system from 2, 3, 5, 7 days from now, but they kind of forget about the system that's coming in tomorrow. And tomorrow's a pretty decent one. So let's see here. Let's go through time. So here's the next system that comes in, and this is Wednesday morning. This is Tuesday afternoon, and there's Tuesday evening. So the low, upper level low is here, but it's kind of it's a messed up pattern is what it is. So it's more of a wide, broadened trough with almost a double barrel. So that changes things. We talked about that last night. The models are all over the place with solutions, and therefore that changes what you see down at the surface. So we're going to look and see how that's going to affect things for you. All right, so if I go into Wednesday morning, low's still out west of us Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday afternoon, it finally moves into central and eastern Oklahoma here. So that means by Wednesday afternoon, all the action as far as severe weather will be pushed off into this quadrant here. So that'll be where your big severe weather event will occur on Wednesday. Tuesday, the still question is a little too late. Let's find out. So we're going to zoom in and look at some of the parameters there and know that this will change. So because we're way out. And remember,
what would you like to play next?
Quiet, whatever your name is.
I'm Alexa. I share this name with
Hey, stop talking.
people.
Shh. Okay.
Thanks for asking.
No, just quit.
Like
Alexa, stop talking. So, why are you trying to sell me a gift? I don't want anything. Just leave me alone. All right, where was I? So let's see. Tuesday. Okay, so here's Tuesday. All right, we're midday. Here's the afternoon, and this is Cape Instability. Now, it doesn't look anything like what we see coming up for tomorrow. So in other words, it's a little disorganized, a little chaotic. It's not nearly as strong. Sheer, it's okay. All right, so this has central and eastern Oklahoma in it. And this is just one model, keep in mind, for Tuesday afternoon. Let's see, so let's just pick a point sounding here in Oklahoma City. And saturated with the wrong shear, so that means the surface pattern's already changed, so the threat's to the east. All right, so let's go now to, does it have any other parameters? Let's see, it just does what it, for preset. I thought it did, okay. Okay, yeah, that's why it's gonna be east. All right, so here's Tuesday afternoon, for example. Because of the timing and the position of it right now, it has storms in Oklahoma, but it has them in the eastern third of the state. So in other words, this is about I-35 right here. So it's got it well east of I-35 Tuesday afternoon. So Tulsa, then point south, would be under the storm threat region at that point in time. And like we talked about, sounding profiles for that area, we'll just take a look because that's what we're talking about, and it'll change. Let's see here. So very saturated, heavy rainmakers. Shear is not exactly ideal for tornadoes at this point in time, the way it looks. Good for supercells, good for heavy rain, some damaging wind here and there, and some moderately large hail. I'm not overly impressed yet, so we'll see what happens. This is still early in the data standpoint. But let's go to the Canadian, and we're going to see what it does as far as the placement of those storms, and we'll see if it has them in the west or if it has them in the east. Let's see, where are we? The 20, Monday, Tuesday. Here we go. Tuesday morning to Tuesday afternoon. It's got them in the panhandle of of Texas, and they really don't have anything. Let's see. The Wednesdays it fired up. So Wednesday it fires it up out into far western Oklahoma. So in other words, the pattern it's producing is even slower than the American model. And that takes Tuesday completely off the board, period. So then now we're not even talking about the same day. And that's what I'm saying. When you get that far out, don't spend a lot of time talking about one day and promising this, that, and the other, because odds are it ain't going to work out. So here's Wednesday night. So it's a big, heavy rain. So at least that's the second thing that this model sees. The other one did, which is a pretty good saturated atmosphere. We need the rainfall, so we'll take that. I like pretty slow-moving squall lines, so it's usually pockets of wind, a lot of rain. We'll do the European here for fun. And remember, this is all just for fun, because like I said, this will change, but I know people are talking about Tuesday and freaking out already, so that's why we're talking about it now. All right, so here's Tuesday afternoon. Service pattern is weak and anemic. Let's see here. It's just... I'm just not overly impressed. Let's see. Let's take a look. It's got a little bit of a cap here in central Oklahoma. Shear's not bad, and this, according to this model. But the service pattern looked really chaotic. Let me go look real quick. Probably because the upper level pattern's chaotic too. Let's see. Let's take a look. See if I can see anything of excitement. So there's Tuesday evening. So there's a surface low up around Kansas that's veering the winds up here in northern Oklahoma. Then they back again, as they usually do. Stronger dew points in Texas. I don't know, we'll see. So the dry line is way out here in the Texas Panhandle coming into western Oklahoma. So in theory, you would normally get storms that fire on the dry line way out here out west late Tuesday. So it'll be a western Oklahoma deal for late in the day. So like I said, there's still plenty of time and there's still plenty of uncertainty as to how that'll pan out. But so I didn't really tell you much because there really wasn't any much to tell, and you didn't see me jump up and down and say severe weather outbreak and all of that kind of stuff, because that's just tomfoolery at this point. Now if we get into Sunday evening, so that'll be within the 48-hour window, and I say severe weather outbreak. All right, well there's some more credence to that, because that's when we get to the tornado window. So I usually wait till about 48 hours out, and that's because we need the mesoscale models for tornadoes prediction. That's a global model. All those we're looking at were global models, and they're okay, but when you're trying to talk about something as small as a tornado, they're not built for that. So I mean, it's great. They're going to paint some really fun, ominous pictures sometimes of what's going to happen, but in the end, you want the high resolution models you can get, and they come in stages. So they start out about 48 to 60 hours out, and they improve about every 12 hours you get closer to the event. So by the time we're looking at the HER model, which is our best model, not every case, but in a lot of the cases, that's about 36 hours out. So they've extended it. That model used to only go out about 12, and now it's been out to 36. The butterfly effect was contained. It didn't turn into chaos. At 36 hours, they said, all right, we'll keep it, we'll use it, we'll see how it goes. Now, maybe it'll eventually get extended to 48 hours, but we'll see. But right now, I'll take the 36. So that's when you kind of look into that data, and that's when you really start to pinpoint, the best counties for seeing a tornado, like we did for tomorrow, as far as the best spot in the state and timing and all that kind of stuff. So that's where all that information comes into play. Anything between now and then is just grandstanding. So ain't nobody got time for that. Okay. I believe that was it from me. You guys have been great. Like I said, always, thank you for the love. And one more look. And then I'm going to turn you loose. Let's see. Yeah, you guys saw that. I see you, Sergio, on YouTube. And I don't want to ask her about the weather because then I can't get her to be quiet when I'm trying to talk. So anyway, okay, by the way, I see you some more stars. I'll give you some more shout outs here, and then we'll turn you loose here for it tonight. Joe Linda, I see you with the earphones. Please include Texas in your report. Christella, they miss having meteorologist. Tell you what, hang with me about 2 seconds. We'll go down to Dallas again. We'll take a look in North Texas, a little bit more detail than what I gave you before. I gave you a broad brush picture before, and then we'll see what's going on here, the newest data. Georgianne, appreciate you. Leslie, I see you tonight. Giselle wants Jody to make an appearance, so Mrs. Tuttle has been requested. Now I will do live cut-ins. I'll cover the storms tomorrow in the evening hours, so after 6 o'clock, assuming that tornadoes do occur out in the southwestern Oklahoma. Esther, I see you. Diana, appreciate the stars. And Sam, Giselle, Chayton, Miranda, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Bradley, appreciate you. Brandon, he's loving the Tom McDonald. Lindsay, I see you. Jenny, Jesse. Okay, so tell you what. Let's do Dallas, Fort Worth proper, because I know there's some, got some peeps down there that are want to know what's happening down there. So let's go ahead and get to that. I see somebody's comment about the grandstanding. Time to turn on the news. Not yet. You got 4 minutes before you can watch the circus across the street and get you all worked up. So we don't need no circus here. All right, so let's go back down to Dallas. And then we're out of here for real. For good this time. I mean it. All right, let's see. Let's do this. All right, so in Dallas, it's a little bit different. It's more of kind of like an uncapped atmosphere, so you're just going to have thunderstorms that bubble up, scattered in nature all afternoon. Dew point values will be into the, 60s, mid-60s, so that's plenty of soup to get stuff going. There'll be a dry line out here in far western North Texas, but it really won't affect you because you're already going to have storms that move through. Your temperatures are also going to be on the cooler side, so it looks like 60s, maybe some low 70s, for the late afternoon. So there's kind of a cloudy, gross day. Total accumulation out here, though, in Dallas-Fort Worth for this whole system looks pretty good. It's about an inch. Someplace here in eastern Texas, my goodness, Tyler, some indications you may get 3, 4, even 5 inches of rain in some of these heavier trained areas. Storms all the way down to Waco, some good rainfall down there as well. All right, severe weather threat. Let's take a look. Best Cape, best shear overlay. And that is going to be across pretty much all of North Texas. So the surface, okay, it's 9 o'clock at night. Let's back that up. During the middle part of the afternoon, the model is going to be affected by the storm, so it's going to kind of have a lull in the instability, which does occur, of course, because you've kind of calmed the atmosphere down a little bit once you get rain-cooled air everywhere. But regardless, the wind shear here in Dallas is actually pretty decent for tornadoes. So I do expect tornadoes down in North Texas tomorrow, anytime from really lunchtime through about 6 o'clock in that 6-hour window. Shear is good enough, decent enough. Low-level winds are a little weak. They're about 5-10 knots here on this particular forecast sounding. That's the only limitation. Typically, you want surface winds of around at least 15 knots, preferably even stronger than that. But without a boundary to work with, it'll be a mess. There'll be kind of a embedded deal. So this is what I mean by that. So here's the cluster of storms at noon coming in to Dallas-Fort Worth already, right? And as we head into time through 1 and 2 o'clock, you see these little purple areas, just really, really heavy thunderstorms with hail in them. Now the models, even though they have the shear profile being favorable for tornadoes, because of the way it produces the convection, it doesn't know what to do with it. So it doesn't know where it would think to put a tornado. So that's why it's pretty much any fair game. Now, here at some point, 3 o'clock, it has these little helicity tracks that do show up briefly. So there's one there, and then here's one here. Just came out of nowhere. So this is kind of those deals where it's an embedded tornado somewhere amongst the mess of that. So here's 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Still some indications of some really good supercells mixed into some of this mess that parallels I-20 south of Tyler's. It runs from west to east out here in eastern Texas. So some big hail with those and potential tornado with that. And this is through 6, and then at 7 o'clock you see it's well out of there. There's a lone little storm that just kind of made a last minute approach down there south of Dallas. But regardless, it's going to be a stormy afternoon, and there will be a couple of tornadoes, I think, embedded within this. So what happens is, if you're watching down there, you're going to need, thanks, Susan, you're going to need to watch someone down there in Dallas-Fort Worth that uses velocity on the radar display, so that you have reflectivity, which everybody's used to seeing. It's just the colors like this. It's just the brighter the ones, the heavier the rain or hail. But you're going to want somebody who's an actual meteorologist that actually uses velocity data and isn't afraid to call out the location of a tornado. So up here in Oklahoma, I do that here, and some other people do it here a lot all the time. So you're kind of used to it. But down in Dallas, that's usually something they just don't do. So you can find one that does that. My former boss, Rick Mitchell, he's down there in KXAS. So his station might. I'm not sure. I don't watch the coverage down there. Usually don't get a chance to. But just flip around. If anybody's got this mess of storms, this is how you know. I'm going to teach you how to immediately turn off the TV and never give these guys another minute of your time. Let's say they've got this right here moving through Dallas-Fort Worth tomorrow. Okay, so we'll say this is the actual radar. Even though this is a model prediction of the future, we'll say this is it. Okay, and they come on and they show you a radar image, and this is what they show you. And then they say there's a tornado in Dallas County. You guys in Rockwall, which is this little county right here, you need to be in your shelters. All right, so that's it. He shows this image. That's all he shows. And he just says there's a tornado. It's in Dallas County and northeast Dallas County maybe, and it's moving to Rockwall. Do you know how pointless that information is? For one, where? Well, it's in the county. Yeah, but where in the county? Well, how about giving me a street level? What street is it on? So you want a guy to do that now, or gal, whoever's doing the thing. But the deal is, they're not going to be able to see that if it's in a cluster of storms like this, because the radar's not going to be able to pick out the tornado very well. So they're going to have to use velocity data to track it per street level. And then when they track it on the street level, hey, that person you follow, and if they give you the path for it, follow them. And as long as they're picking out the tornadoes and keeping with the warnings, then you're good. Sometimes you'll get these things may develop kind of fast. So if the Weather Service is trying to monitor a bunch of storms and they're a couple minutes behind maybe on doing whatever, and that something pops up right then and there, you want a station that sees that and isn't afraid to go, okay, we've got a developing tornado here, or at least looks like a developing tornado. Let's pretend or treat it like it is one and seek shelter. That's always a good play. But you don't want the ones that have to wait for the official warning. 'Cause sometimes those don't come. I mean, everybody does make mistakes, and the Weather Service included. They do a great job overall, but there's many tornadoes that are missed just due to various reasons. So you don't want to just sit back and wait. I mean, if you're a degree meteorologist, you went to school. I mean, put your neck out there, right? Do your job. So that's my advice. You guys down in Dallas, which is not a very heavy, severe weather-oriented market. They're a little better than they used to be, but they're not anything like what we have here in Oklahoma, and that's probably a good thing. There's a lot of reasons for that, which I won't get into tonight, but just so you know, that's how I would pick your person to follow, and that goes with anywhere in the country. I've seen it horrible in the Southeast, and I get people all the time ask me, hey, I moved from Oklahoma, I can't find anybody that does what you do, Aaron. Who should I follow? I'm just like, I got no idea, because there's only one me. Come on now. There's no duplicates. You can't clone me. But joking aside, for those particular cases, same idea. You want to find somebody that zooms in, not to just the county of a radar, but it actually zooms in to your neighborhood. Because as long as the tornadic part of the storm is within about, let's say, 50 miles of the radar, there's no excuse why they should not be at a neighborhood level. All right. Now, once it gets past that, you're having some other limitations that you can't deal with, so that won't be as accurate. But you can at least get down to intersection, right? So that's still within a quarter of a mile bracket, and that's plenty accurate enough. All right. So you'll want to find somebody that does that anywhere you live or travel across the U.S., because those are the ones that know what they're doing, and they're actually going to tell you where it is. So my nose is itching. Sorry about that. It's one of those deals. Somebody's thinking about me. Is that what the expression is? So anyway, what I was gonna say is, if someone's just showing you a county, and they go, okay, Becklem County's got a tornado warning in it, and they just sit on the same image, and they have a storm track, which is great, but they don't show you anything else, that person's got to go. You need somebody in there that's just going all kinds of maps and picking up stuff and zooming in and doing this and doing that. You want someone who's active. So not everybody in the weather business, is a meteorologist, just so you know. A lot of them are just entertainers for whatever reason. Some of them do have some schooling, but they may not have all of it. And some of them are actually pretty good even with just the limited schooling. So I'm not going to take that away from them. I'm just saying it's a wide range out there. Now, that said, they're not all radar trained either, nor understand storm structure and development through a visualization in their brain by looking at a radar. Now, for those with storm chasing experience, they can put the two together. But a lot of times, those TV people in the different markets, depending on what market it is, they may not have that experience. So that's how you're going to notice that, by the way. That's how you pick out someone who really shouldn't be doing the job they're doing, is if they just stick on one map and it's a big broad picture, there's nothing else happening, that person's got to go. So if I'm putting my life in someone's hands, it isn't going to be that one. I'm flipping the channel. That's how I would view it, as in your shoes. And in my shoes, you don't want to know, because if say I'm traveling for work, whatever, and I'm in the middle of that, and I would watch some local coverage, just for example, I'd be yelling at them, zoom in, do this, do that, where's this product, how come you're not showing this? I'd go nuts. So that's why I can't watch any coverage, because I'd want it done like it should be done, and so when it's not done, it just drives me crazy. I need my sanity. All right, listen, I gotta get out of here finally, but we'll do this again. I see Ina's comment. I won't comment other than I'll just nod my head. But, what we'll do is we'll possibly do a lunchtime live at lunch. Lunchtime live at lunch tomorrow? Yeah, Aaron, let's do that. A redundant lunch. And then we'll see how it goes for the late afternoon and evening. It looks like there'll be a few tornadoes, or at least one or two. Then I'll cover them down there in southwest Oklahoma. And we'll go from there. But thanks again for following tonight, and all the love. And we'll do this again later. Good night, everybody.